This is David Cohen. This is, as always, Sunday, exceptions only when dramatic things happen or dramatic, important things happen. I'm just as off topic, I'm wondering if I manage to make Yasmina laugh this time again. I love that interaction. So this is my first clip on the new channel. So what happened actually? When I signed up with my previous channel, I quickly met all the criteria for being a member of the partner program. And as a final verification for receiving payments, I was sent a PIN code to my address in Slovakia. Now, the problem is that in Slovakia in general, postal services are highly dependent on which area you're living in and on the person who does the distribution. Bratislava is a big problem in general. I hear it from many friends and acquaintances. And this particular area where we are based in the sense of we rented a small place where we spent a few nights when we return kind of to change the contents of our suitcase, to relax a little bit, to recharge. So there it is very hard, first of all, to receive mail at all. Amazon packages are getting lost. So everybody we know never makes any Amazon order. They always ask friends across the Austrian border, and those who are living in the north, close to the Czech border, ask their friends and their families there. So as a tool for final verification, I am going to be sent, or I was already sent, a PIN code, which I will not receive because, as I said, we barely don't receive anything there because of the people involved. Now, I tried to inform Google about this, asking them to be able to change address with all the necessary verification measures or whatever, and they refused. They claimed to understand my reasons, the reasons I just explained, but they, in the end, are very stubborn, or they really cannot change the processes, so I will never be able to monetize in the future, to be eligible as an advertisement partner. So in order to avoid accumulating money there, which will never be paid out, which helps us, Yasmina and me, to finance our travel, which will. That is my first attempt. And if not, but I'm unwilling to leave a single euro to Google. We decided to switch to another channel and go through the whole processes again. This is why I thank you all who already switched from my previous channel to the new channel. Thank you very much. I see this as a very encouraging sign of support, and I really appreciate your support. And I hope not only, least of all for the money, but in particular to gain more followers here, because so many of you told me, keep telling me how important they find my viewpoints, my topics in this whole noise and bubble that photography and in particular influencers do, where most of the times I'm sharing completely different viewpoints. Okay, that was this. The main topic today is not only because this is a new channel, but because this was, actually is, one of my most popular videos, and it was the reason why I started all of this. It was back then, in the early days of my channel, why I switched to Fujifilm X100VI and Leica D-Lux 8. Once again, I know most of you know Fujifilm X100VI. This is the silver version that, even though usually I prefer the black cameras, I chose this one because of the classic look. The other camera that I switched is this one here, Leica D-Lux 8, commonly referred to as Baby Q3, because it really got a substantial design overhaul. The menu system is completely new. The back is, contrary to the previous model, which was a collaboration with Panasonic, this is not a collaboration model. This is the first real pure Leica D-Lux model. Now, I kind of already said something like this, but today we go a little bit deeper into the affair. Now, back then, when I switched from Canon EOS R5 and a vast array of lenses, all of a sudden to Fujifilm X100VI, after only a year and a half. Why? I was really surprised, positively surprised, of the quality, of the haptics, of the feel and build of the Canon camera. But over time I realized three things. First of all, I increasingly was looking for a travel camera, because the Canon R5 is a quite bulky, very solid, very nice to handle camera, but it is big. Now with the lenses and everything, it is even bigger, and apart from the problems you face today with traveling and limitations and restrictions, it is not something that you easily take with you. In particular, you are more or less condemned to using a camera bag which automatically draws all the attention of the wrong people to you. Now, a travel camera is something that I kind of intended the Fujifilm X100VI to be. And then I realized that anyway, I had stopped using my quite expensive 2.8 2470 Canon lens in favor of the 35 and the 50 millimeters. And that I increasingly only use the Canon equipment for my shootings only, which means that at least half of my photography was taking place with this reduced combo, but I was really looking for a very capable, solid, high-quality camera with a much smaller footprint. And when I finally decided to get the Fujifilm X100VI, I quickly decided to do away with the Sony after I tested the Fujifilm X100VI for boudoir shootings under the same light conditions. And I realized that anyway, most of my photos I took with the Canon were more or less in the same area of the Fujifilm. So instead of all the bulk and everything, I decided to really slim down, to reduce, like I would say, to the essential, to das Wesentliche. At the same time, Leica came out with, there were rumors Leica would bring a new camera, a smaller camera, and because of previous rumors, D-Lux 7 would be the last, We all expected something else, and then they came with D-Lux 8, which I decided immediately to replace. I sold it. Now, state of the matter is I use for professional photography my previously intended travel camera, which is an amazing tool. Gordon Laing, I will talk about this a little bit later. You will find the link down here. Even recently compared the two cameras, the Leica Q343, the newest model, to the Fujifilm X100VI, and it's a very interesting comparison. I did my own together, not together in the sense of a collaboration, but it coincided with Hugh Brownstone's evaluation and comparison of Fujifilm X100VI and Leica Q2, which Fuji technically, spec-wise, clearly beats hands down. Now, where am I standing? I have, for the first time in a very long time, a very small footprint in terms of gear. I have never, not never, but yeah, in my professional career, really I can say never, had such a small camera, such a well-built small camera seen at all, except the Leica M3. There is not much gear I have to carry with me, apart from the gear I need or we need for filming. So I can put all of this in my travel backpack, which I anyway use as an onboard luggage when we fly. Nobody knows there's a camera inside. A lot of people keep telling me that this can't be professional. First of all, who are they? I didn't know that there is something like the Pope deciding what is professional and not. Second, I couldn't care less what some people decree or not, as I never give much of a damn for what people say. And at the same time, I asked those people, we talked about it, but I like to repeat that because it is important here. Would you really say that Nikon D2X, which I used for a long, long time, I even had two bodies of this excellent camera, was not professional because it was a DX camera, which is Nikon's way of saying APS-C? I mean, you gotta be kidding. Besides, I don't fall victim to the full frame frenzy. A lot of people will agree that it takes more skills to shoot with JPEG than leaving all your options open with RAW photography. Why should I shoot RAW? When I take the photo, either professionally or for my pleasure, because photography is my passion, I have the image already in my mind, and this is how I work. This is how I choose the aperture. This is how I choose the light, how I change the light, how I influence the light. I don't need all options open. I don't have to be a top editor because today I want to look it like this, tomorrow I want to return and make it look like that. I have an idea. This is, I think, why photography is art. You have an idea. Have you ever heard of Leonardo da Vinci repainting several times Mona Lisa? Because today he felt like a little bit darker. Tomorrow he feels like a little bit slimmer Mona Lisa. Less lingerie, more lingerie, maybe whatever, yeah? Makeup, no makeup. It is the picture he had in mind. It is the photo I have in mind, the story I want to tell. This is why I shoot the photo. I don't spray and pray. And therefore, this is not a limitation. So I'm very, very happy. Yes, it was a change. I talked about it recently, I think 2 weeks ago, last week or 2 weeks ago. It was a change. It is a change because As much as I anyway didn't change lenses at the end of my time with the Canon, but at least I was able to. Here, I'm not able to. But because of 40 megapixels, I'm able to crop in. And it doesn't happen that often. Fujifilm X100VI is an excellent camera. It deserves so much more appreciation and attention than being the influencer camera. As I said, and I'll repeat it again, I remember the first model of the X100 series, and until model V or Roman 5, I was several times tempted to use, not only to buy one, but there was one vital limitation for me, vital, because of this. And today is a good day. Because of my age, because of my cancer treatment, and because of the constant asthma medication, my hands are a little bit not kind of shaky. So a camera without IBIS is a no-go for me, because sometimes it is more, sometimes it is less. I need to be able to rely on my gear, and without IBIS, I cannot do it. This is also another reason why, even though I had the money in the past, I never went to Leica M. Once again, it is the perfect camera for my job. It is the perfect camera for me. And many times I really enjoy just to take it out and look at it, feel it. I, really appreciate, I admire the way it looks. I mean, just look at this. Isn't that beautiful? And it is important to me. Design is important to me. This is not only a tool, as many say. It is something I work with. I tell my stories with. It is something I love. And I really love this camera. The same for the Leica D-Lux 8. It should have been my travel camera, but there are limitations to it. Something very good, it is this lens, equivalent to 24-70. I take it now that I have this for my everyday photography, always with me in my backpack. It has stunning image quality. The whole package now is really perfect. It is the first real pure Leica of the D-Lux series, and instead of using smartphone, I have this tiny little thing with me, and I love it, and I make much better photos than I could ever do with whatever smartphone. I mentioned Gordon Laing. Maybe you know his channel. Gordon Laing is one of the people who inspired me to do that channel, because I always thought about having my own channel. But when I looked at people like Peter McKinnon, I'm not that flamboyant. I've never been that flamboyant. I don't even know if Peter McKinnon is that flamboyant, but I made it, you heard it. Yasmina's smiling. But the thing is, I don't want to make a fool out of me trying to portray somebody and something I'm not. I'm not this, hello, what's up, everybody? I'm not. I've never been that. Not even when I was a teenager, never. Yeah? I'm the person you see. What you see is what you get. It's not only mirrorless camera system. This is me. I'm very dry. I'm very, I answer quickly. Sometimes it hurts. I don't care. If you cannot take a joke and know that I haven't meant it seriously. Anyway, so Gordon Laing is one of those extremely dry people. Fact. And he recently find the link please underneath, I mentioned it before, did a comparison between the Fujifilm X100VI and Leica Q343, the newest model of the Q series, and an updated, in terms of lens, updated version of the Leica Q3. I have always said I'm not going to make such reviews. I'm not going to talk too much about specs. People like Gordon Laing do it much better. And this is where you should go. What I'm trying to do is to talk about, as my header photo says somewhere here, photography, philosophy, thoughts, impressions, you know, something like talking with you about things that seem important to me and important to think about is when you compare these two cameras, which basically are both in the same category, compact cameras, people sometimes even say point and shoot, which I think is nonsense, because every pro camera can be set to A or P or whatever, and then you have fully automated settings. But we are talking about these compact fixed lens cameras, which increasingly become popular, and especially the Fujifilm X100VI and the Leica Q3 28 and 43 millimeters are perfect examples of this trend. Now, funny enough, I did this, I talked about it long before a wider public and some influencers, and I think those of you who follow me now for quite some time or since the beginning, they know what I think of influencers, is that these cameras offer amazing image quality at very reasonable prices. Now you will say that how can a Leica Q3 43 at 6.7K euros be reasonable? Try to get that lens with a Leica M body and you will pay at least 11 to 12K. You don't have IBIS, you don't have, which, as I said, is not only important to me, but to many others. And you have a much more modern camera at the same time, which also is much better at filming, which is neither my main concern, nor do I hear that very often. Because when we film, whatever we film, currently it is Yasmina's Canon R6 Mark II, but in principle, 98% of what we film is done with smartphones with amazing capabilities, and which is why we bought so much and updated so much of our gear and even widened the range of products we now dispose of to make videos here, on the go, and wherever. Now, listen, watch this movie. It's not a movie. Why am I saying this? Watch this clip and think for yourself. It is true, the price is high, but for a Leica, this is a very good price. When I buy a Nikon Z9 with lenses, I also get very easily, and we are talking about a handmade camera in Germany. This is what we are always talking about, getting industry back to Europe, trying to have technology in Europe and not to be dependent on external actors, whatever. Now, nevertheless, I am very close to buying, finally, you remember those who follow me, I was always talking about that one day I may buy a Q3 or a successor model. In the recent months, I increasingly came to the point that most likely I will get the Leica Q3 43 millimeters. And I want to tell you why I'm doing this. So first of all, I'm 60 years old. And I have owned Leicas before. I know the quality. I know why I'm paying, what I'm paying. Still, I'm a little bit hesitant for now, but most likely I will get it. And basically, this decision came with the release of the Q3 43 millimeter. And I really urge you to watch Hugh Brownstone's thoughts about the Q3 43. There will be another link underneath. This is the perfect camera. This is the one that I not only want to have, but it will be the last professional camera I'm getting, because whatever comes may be better or will be better here and there, but overall the Q3 43 has reached a level where I say it is more than das Wesentliche. It is das Wesentliche, the essential, what I need, what I will really use as much as nothing ever before. Most of the cameras people buy today are way more powerful and capable than most of these people are even up to. And I'm not only talking about their skills. They haven't even read the manual. They have no idea. They just buy. Most of the people, I see it in my workshops when I help people, assist them to make the right choices for their new gear. The Q3 43 is, for me, the pinnacle. And as we look back on iconic M-body cameras, which technologically are, I wouldn't say a matter of the past, but they stand for something. They represent value, photography value today, and so will this camera do for me and for the rest of my life. As I said, I'm coming full circle. I started with the Leica M3, my father's Leica M3. I moved through all the phases I briefly described in my previous videos. By the way, the old channel will remain so that you can go there and watch. But increasingly, at least for the time being, but increasingly I will move these videos. It is a full circle, and I can't wait for that to happen. I'm not doing it now because it is also an economic decision that has financial and economic consequences, and such an expenditure makes more sense in the new fiscal year. So it will have to wait for next year. I will also have to see what is availability, but I'm 98.5, maybe 99% sure I will get this camera, and I will keep you posted on this. For the time being, I am where I am. I showed them to you today, and I'm very happy with this. I won't give my Fuji away, even if I get the Leica. I want to say thank you again, and I want to remind you once again, never take anything for granted. Appreciate the moment. This is not because Christmas is coming. I'm not a Christian. I am an atheist, but I'm a Jewish atheist, but nevertheless, it doesn't take religion. Never take anything for granted. If you're living with somebody, if you're sharing your life with somebody, don't take her or him for granted. Tell her or him or them, if you are together with several people. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Tell them how much you love them, how much he or she means to you. Because there may not be another tomorrow that even starts, or there may be not another tomorrow where you return after having left the house. On that notion, I want to thank you once again. I hope to see you again and again here on my new channel. And I say, have a nice evening. Over and out.